Hi everybody, Mars here, the golf professional at Southwark Park Golf Club. This week I'm going to give you a product review. Not like the product reviews you're probably used to seeing, because there's too many of them about for me to make one. And whenever a new driver comes out, you see stats, figures, numbers. I'm going to break it down and make it a little bit more simple than that. So I think that I am as cynical as you when it comes to new drivers. And I have got this new Taylor Made driver in my hand here, and we'll talk about it in a minute. And I saw this driver in October, and I go into the place where it's all top secret and it's all hidden away. You surrender your camera and your phone or whatever, and it's all very top secret because they don't want this information getting out there. And the first thing I say to the Taylor Made guys is, how much is it? What's my buy-in? What's the demo package like? And they are good lads. They love their company. They want to talk about the story and where they've been. And I'm saying to them, this year, boys, this is driver number 23 for me of the best driver you've ever made. And there's not really anywhere to go with it. Supercomputers, whatever you want, designing this golf club head, married with a shaft, and off you go. So really, the limits on conforming are very, very tight. I don't know if you've heard of a thing called the COR limit, which is basically how fast the ball can come off the face because it's flexing inward and outward. And they banned a load of drivers because those COR limits got a little bit out of control and the thing was like a trampoline pinging balls off. So we've got to a stage now where that can't be increased. So Ping, Callaway, Taylor Made, you name it, are all on these conforming limits. So what then makes a good golf club after that, or what makes something that might make a difference? So like for me, first off, it's like having a nice plate of food. There's a visual, you know, if you look down at this club and say, don't like the look of it, well, it doesn't matter how well it performs because you'll never like the look of it. So firstly, visually, it's really important that you love the look of your driver. My number one thing I'd say to you before we even go any further is, when you plonk a driver down behind the ball, do you feel like you can hit it down the fairway? And I think if you say, I love the look of this, I can hit this down the fairway, then that driver's going to take some serious consideration, right? So the boys at Taylor Made, they're brilliant. They go through their whole spiel. They say one really interesting thing about weight, because from a club design point of view, the ability to move weight is probably the thing that might be able to make a significant improvement to performance. So they've saved 9 grams by using aluminium to make this frame where the carbon sits around rather than titanium or whatever it might have been. And that could be the reason why there's something in this driver. So it leads me to the driver. There was always a buzz about it from last year because McIlroy wasn't using Qi35, he wanted to use his Qi10, and that's really because, as I understand it, it wasn't so much performance, it was back to visual again. He preferred the look of the top of his Qi10. It was dark, it wasn't this silvery space in any way. So it wasn't, I don't think for me, it wasn't the performance, because these things they don't release this club to the market if it doesn't perform. Then we're talking about how to make it best perform for you. So this club in particular had a lot of buzz about it because they were testing it early. He was loving it, other players were loving it, and there was an increase in club head speed and then ball speed. So I'm this cynical old pro that's like, yeah, fine, let me have a go with it. Which leads me to that there is something special about this driver, and I think it's a few things. But Taylor Made have made some not great drivers for me in the past. Aero Burner, not great. Stealth One, not the greatest performing club. I took this club out and hit 5 balls down the range, just grabbed it off the shelf, thought I'm really itching to have a go with this thing. I love the way it looks. It's got a sort of, let me just show you the club quickly and I'm going to explain to a couple of the features about this club. So that's the top edge. It's got a sort of, me being colourblind, but it's a sort of coppery tinge to it, I guess. I like this little sight line at the top. That really helps me square the face up. This model is what they call the core model, which has 4 movable weights. So that goes back to some of their quad drivers before, R11 quad, R9 quad. R9 was a fabulous driver, definitely one that I really enjoyed using. So that's that part of the technology. So their ability to move the weight may have made a difference in how this thing performs. And I hit 5 balls and they all went like rockets straight down the middle. I thought, wow, that feels a little bit different off the face. Feels different than the Qi4D I've been using. Right, so that's the head a little bit. And now the other thing which is interesting from a fitting point of view, I call it closure rates, they're calling it high, mid and low rotation. If the best way to explain it, probably like a high rotation player or an early Charlie Hull, Scotty Scheffler, Collin Morikawa, is how you close the face in relation to the ball. Now they've worked with Mitsubishi to make these React shafts to suit these closure rates, so there's something in that. Now I know that I'm fitting in that band where a lot of people, about 60-70% of people, will be this moderate closure rate. Basically you're squaring the club up at impact with your hands sort of in line like that, and you can do that quite simply with a slow motion film from your iPad to see where your closure rate is, or your rotation rate as they're putting it. It's something that's always been slightly in fittings, but never so much that they've made shafts to suit that, and it's all about tip stiffness, and it can make a real difference to where in the head you hit. So that'll be interesting in the fitting part of you. So then I took it into the simulator to see what was going on, and one of the things for me is I've had my flight scope now for about 12 years, so I've got all that data from the first day I used it from. So 12 years down the line, I have increased club head speed with this driver. So I've got older, I've got slower, I've got fatter, I've got whatever, but I've still managed to maintain club head speed. So one of the hits I hit in there, so I'm like your 100 to 103 man club head speed. I did get one up to 107 without me really trying to like thrash away. It was just a normal type of shot. Now that does make a significant improvement in distance. So I'm carrying this driver, I reckon, and it's not going to sound very much this, but it's enough to make a difference. 12, 15 yards further through the air, apparently. You know, I've got to really test it on the course. I want to play with shafts. I want to try a shorter shaft. I want to put my own grip on it. And then I think it'll be even better. So Qi4D is definitely a club to consider having a go with and taking the demo out. I think you might be like me, after a couple of hits, there's something different about it. Whether I've just got lucky and paired the right shaft. So light and stiff is where I'm going to go with this. This is only a 50 gram shaft in a stiff flex, so it's plenty stiff enough, but it's very light. That's obviously going to make the club move very quickly through the air. Visually, it's great. Sounds great. So there's something in it. This isn't a product review from Taylor Made. I'm just going to say to you, come and try the demo. If you want to spend £550, because that's what it's going to cost you, and you're serious about it, it could be a real asset to your game, especially if you're coming from something unsuitable. So yeah, I'm just going to have a couple of whacks with it just to maybe just give you a little bit of visual and what I think as I hit it. Do not poo-poo this driver. Others on the market, which will be fabulous as well. But yeah, something in this. What I am looking forward to doing is trying this driver in about 15 degrees with a bit of sun on my back, and not in brutal wind and freezing cold. But a couple of things. You know, I said to you about visually, you've got to like the look of it. And when you see this in the flesh outside in the natural light, it has got a really beautiful look to the top edge and the shape of the crown. There are three different heads, remember. This is what they call the core head. There's a max head, which is going to suit the higher handicappers. And then there's the low spin head. If you've seen the Rick Shields video, he hit that a long way past this core head. But this is the one for me, it's going to be, I'm pretty sure. Spin rates is something you do indoors. This is spinning perfectly for me, somewhere in the low 2000s. So just sets up, looks beautiful, goes nicely with this shaft, and the sound's good. Should you be interested in sound? Yeah, you should. See, that's another one for me, like that shot. Whoever comes and plays the fourth in a minute will find these balls. So not sure I'm going to go and pick them up. So that's a little bit of a heel strike. It's gone straight as an arrow. So it's another good shot. It's such a good driver. It's such a good driver. Well done, Taylor Made. Next year you'll have to make the greatest driver ever made. Yeah, the tripod was off. Next year you'll have to make the greatest driver ever made. And I will come and say to you, how much is it? And you're going to say to me, it's 575, no doubt. And I got the feeling this might still be in my bag, I don't know. I'm going to say I've played 0 rounds on the course. This is the best driver I've ever used. That's the best driver I've ever used. They've all banged straight down the middle. Woo! See you all next week.
So you can see it from this swing here, that's in position here, back to in position.